Live, this is NewsDay.
Back to Melbourne now. A massive group of youths have pelted rocks at police after gathering in Melbourne's northwest overnight. Sky News Melbourne reporter Patrick Murrell has more from the scene.
A massive group of up to 100 youths, described as being of African in appearance, some still wearing their school uniforms, gathered here at this Taylors Hill Park in Melbourne's western suburbs at just after 5:30 last night. There were two opposing groups with a history of conflict, and they'd come here to fight each other. Concerned residents called police, and there was a swift and significant response, with officers in riot armour, the dog squad and public order response teams, as well as the air wing deployed to the scene. Those in the area were instructed to return home, lock the doors and remain inside for their own safety while the situation developed.
It's not widespread, it's in pockets. We're certainly engaged and activated both with some of these persons that are operating in these, what we're calling street gangs, I guess. I'm hopeful that we'll see some early arrests during the course of the day and into the next couple of days.
Officers blocked off roads around the area while they tried to gain control of the situation. As the youths retreated, they pelted police with rocks and other projectiles. Nobody was injured, although one police car was damaged. No arrests have been made just yet, but the ringleaders of these groups are known to police and will be investigated.
The kids were out of control, and police were not able to do much.
Anybody with information on the incident should contact Crime Stoppers. Patrick Murrell, Sky News, Melbourne.
Take you to Melbourne now. Victoria Police addressing the media after this incident last night in Taylors Hill.
Western suburbs. Currently, it would appear the genesis of this fight or this agreement to come together, these two disparate groups, was based on a teenage relationship issue over a girl. That quite quickly became the focus of social media attention, and as a result of that, two distinct groups of friends met up at this location, and the situation escalated rather rapidly. However, police attended with the information that we had at hand, and we located approximately up to about 50 youths congregating around the shopping centre. We immediately commenced coordinating a policing response to the threat, and based on the intelligence and information that we had at hand. Our planning, as I say, was linked into our intelligence sources, and we were dragging real-time intelligence both from social media and other sources. The police commander at the time decided to obviously coordinate local policing resources to attend, so we had a really strong police visible presence on the ground. We also utilised some of our public order response teams to come and join that police presence. At this point in time, it was quite clear to us and to the police commander involved that the intent of the group was to escalate the public order threat and become involved in some sort of violence. So that was a real concern for us. However, our disruption measures and our presence were very successful, and we dispersed the groups. They got onto buses again. We made a risk-based judgment to monitor the activity of these groups. I'm not convinced that whilst we'd dispersed the groups, we certainly hadn't concluded the threat. So we followed the groups to a location in Taylors Hill called Lonzo Park. We then set ourselves up at that location and began just monitoring the behaviour of the groups, I guess, at this point in time. And we're also engaging with them and trying to understand what the angst was and how we could possibly intervene and avoid any violence. During this time, we're receiving a whole lot of calls from residents and members of the public who are quite concerned about the large gathering of youths at that location. So that was certainly front and centre of our attention as well. Not long after that, we started to see these groups become unruly in their behaviour, and that then escalated to the throwing of stones and also damaging some parked vehicles nearby as well. This obviously required us to escalate our tactics and also escalate our thinking. So quite quickly, the police commander in the field briefed up, and we put a senior command team in place overseeing the incident, and we commenced a coordination process in relation to our response, thinking through what our tactics needed to look like, and also trying to make that that place as safe as quickly as we could, and look after the local residents. So these tactics, as you would have seen and would have heard, included the use of an escalation in the tactics of the public order team. So there's been reporting today of riot police being on the ground, and certainly we approved the escalation of their use. We also were utilising the police air wing from overhead to disperse these youths. By this stage, it was sometimes after 7 p.m. And quite quickly, the measured tactics that were utilised on the night, from our perspective, were very effective. I'm aware that this morning there's been some reporting that residents were provided advice by police to remain indoors during this incident for their own safety. I just want to clarify, we didn't undertake a door knock per se to provide that advice, but certainly if members of the public or residents were seen outside the front of their house or in their garden, we did ask them to go back inside, only so that the matter didn't become more complicated and that we could resolve the matter as quickly as we possibly could for their safety and the safety of all involved. But I want to reassure the public we never lost control of this incident. We were always in control. We had a measured, balanced set of tactics that we were deploying, and at every opportunity we were giving those used to the opportunity to disperse and move about their business without any sort of police oversight or interaction.
That's where we leave that media conference in Melbourne from Victoria Police, responding to some claims that were made last night, also to some criticism over them not making any arrests. We'll continue to follow this story throughout the afternoon.